Hello and welcome to Code to SD. So in this video, we are going to see a problem of splitting an array into two equal sum subarrays. So I'll be given an array like 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 6, 1 is given here. So I have to split it into two subarrays whose sum is equal. So you can see that I have the first part will be 1, 2, 4, 5 and the second part is 5, 6, 1. In both the subarrays, the sum is equal to 12. So I'll be printing the two subarrays if found. If there is no such subarrays in the original array whose sum is equal, then we can print as no subarray found. So let's go to system, code it and see. So let's see in code how we will split this given input array into two subarrays whose sum is equal. So I'm giving here an array like 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 6, 1. I have to print the two subarrays that whose sum is equal, like 1, 2, 4, 5 or 5, 6, 1 in this case. If there is no such subarrays whose sum is equal, then I have to print as no subarray found, right? So let's first understand what I mean from subarray. Subarray means any array inside this array which can be of one element or which can be of element equal to the number of element in this original array, but it should be contiguous. I mean, the element here should be contiguous in the original array. We cannot skip any element of the original array while framing the subarray. So let's see some example like 1 is a subarray, uh, 1 comma 2 is a subarray, 1 comma 2 comma 4 is a subarray here, but 1 comma 2 comma 5 will not be a subarray because in that case we will be skipping this 4. Similarly, if we start from any middle element, then 2 is a subarray, 2 comma 4 will be a subarray, 2 comma 4 comma 5 will be subarray, but 2 comma 4 comma 6 cannot be subarray because in that case we will be skipping these 5s. So I think now you are clear with what is subarray. So here, if this is an input array, then these two subarrays will be the output in this case. As here you can see that 1, 2, 4, 5, its sum is also 12. That is 1, 2, 4, 5, and also 5, 6, 1. This subarray sum is also 12. That is 5, 6, 1. So these two subarrays are having equal sum. So we have to split this original array into two subarrays, leaving no element of the original array that you have to take care. Like you cannot say that 1 comma 2 comma 4 that is whose sum is 7 and 6 comma 1 is another subarray whose sum is 7. This cannot be output because in that case we will be skipping these 5s. So we have to consider all elements of this original array and have to break this original array into two parts considering all the elements so that the sum of the two subarrays which form should be of equal sum. So we'll be starting now with one approach. So what we have to do basically, I'll be iterating through this array. Uh, while iteration, like my index variable, if it is pointing to say 1, that is 0th index, or if it is pointing to 4, that is the second index, what I will be considering is like to whichever index my loop variable is pointing to, till that index, whatever element will come, that I'll be considering in my left subarray. And after that index, from the next index to the length of an array, all the elements I'll be considering the right subarray. So what I'll be doing is I'll be like starting iterating it by a for loop. At every index, I'll be checking if my left subarray sum is equal to right subarray sum or not. If it is, I'll return that index to which my that index variable is pointing to. A loop variable is pointing to. So write one method to get that splitting index. So if even after iterating the complete loop, if I did not find any splitting index, if no index is found at which left subarray sum was equal to right subarray, then I can return simply -1 from that method, which I can compare here to just to know that yeah, there is no such splitting index in the original array, and we cannot break this original array into two equal sum subarrays. तो सबसे पहले एक मेथड बना लेते हैं to get the splitting index. So I'll make one static method which will return me an integer that will be like index, splitting index. So I will say find splitting index. Now it will be getting array as input and also say length of an original array. Now when I'll be calling this method, I'll be getting an return in output as say split index. I will pass my original array and its length to this method. Now once I'll get a split index, I can compare that if my splitting index is equal to -1 or not. If it is, I can simply print that no subarray found, right? And otherwise I'll have to print two subarrays in this original array, so that I'll be doing it here. So first let's write this logic which will give me that splitting index. So here I'm getting original array and also length. I'll be simply iterating over this original array. So let's say int I is equal to 0, I less than n and I plus plus. हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि जैसे जैसे हम आइटरेट करेंगे तो सबसे पहले हमारा जो आई को पॉइंट कर रहा होगा 0th इंडेक्स को, फिर 2 को, फिर 4 को. सो लेट्स से वट एवर इंडेक्स को ये पॉइंट करेगा, लेट्स से 5 को पॉइंट कर रहा है, तो हम 1 2 4 5 यहाँ तक हम ये मानेंगे कि हमारा लेफ्ट सब एरे है. इसको हम एक इंटीजर वेरिएबल से लेफ्ट सम में हम स्टोर कर सकते हैं, हमारा लेफ्ट जो इनिशियली 0 होगा सम, और इसको हम यहाँ तक कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे क्या, लेफ्ट सम. और इसके बाद के जो एलिमेंट्स होंगे उस लूप में हम उसको उसका सम निकाल लेंगे, दैट विल बी माय राइट सम, राइट. और दोनों को कंपेयर कर लेंगे कि अगर दोनों इक्वल हैं देन दिस इज माय स्प्लिटिंग इंडेक्स, कि इसके बाद मुझे जो एलिमेंट्स हैं वो एक दूसरे सब एरे में आएंगे, और इस एलिमेंट तक जो एलिमेंट्स हैं इस एरे में वो मेरे लेफ्ट सब एरे में आएंगे, राइट. सो मैंने लेफ्ट सम एक इंटीजर वेरिएबल ले लिया, वो सम इज वैल्यू इज 0 initially. So as I'll be iterating through this array, left sum, I will be adding that all elements up to that ith index. So say like initially my I will be pointing to this 0th index. So I will be adding this 1 in my left sum. But and the remaining elements, I need to also calculate the sum of those remaining elements, remaining sub array. So for that, I'll have to write one more loop, and I'll take right sum as a local variable to to hold that right sum of the sub array. और एक और loop start करते हैं. Say int is j is equal to, j will start from what, I plus 1, right? One index after my to which I is pointing to. J will be less than till the length of an array, and j plus plus. राइट सम में हम लोग ऐड करते जाएंगे बाकी के रिमेनिंग एलिमेंट्स का सम. नाउ एट दिस पॉइंट से माई इज पॉइंटिंग टू 2, तो मैंने 1 2 को ऐड कर लिया होगा लेफ्ट सम में, और बाकी 4 से लेके 1 तक मैंने ऐड कर लिया होगा राइट सम में. नाउ इन दिस लूप ओनली आई हैव टू कंपेयर, क्या ये दोनों इक्वल हो रहे हैं, दिस लेफ्ट सम सवेरे सम और राइट सवेरे सम क्या इक्वल है या नहीं है. So I'll be checking this left sum is equal to right sum or not. If it is, I'll return say ith index. This ith loop खत्म होने के बाद जब हमने पूरा array iterate कर लिया, now if I did not find any index at which left subarray sum was right equal to right subarray sum, I'll return -1 simply. So after this loop, if I did not find anything, I'll return -1. Which I'm checking here. If I'm getting split index as -1, that means I'll understand that yeah, I did not find any two sub array of equal sum in the original array, right? So basically, I'll here write one loop to print that two sub arrays. आप जो दो सब एरेज है उनको आप वंस यू गॉट स्प्लिट इंडेक्स आप दो अलग अलग लूप से भी प्रिंट कर सकते हो। मैं यहाँ पर एक ही लूप से प्रिंट करके दिखाऊंगा। सो तो हमें ये ओरिजिनल एरे में ही प्रिंट करना है। हमें बस ये पता चल गया है कि यहाँ से हमें ब्रेक करना है, राइट। हमें ये पता चल गया है कि हमें यहाँ से ब्रेक करना है। ये वाला 5 हमें इसका इंडेक्स मिल रहा है, यानी 0 1 2 3 आई की वैल्यू में 3 मिल रही होगी। बट हमें पता है कि 3 तक हमें जो है लेफ्ट सब एरे में रखना है, 3 के बाद जो एलिमेंट है उसको हमें राइट सब एरे में रखना है, राइट। नाउ नाउ व्हेन आई डू दिस से, मैं एक ही लाइन में प्रिंट करूंगा एरे को, तो ये पूरा एरे प्रिंट कर देगा अभी। अब मुझे यहाँ पर क्या करना है, ब्रेक करना है आफ्टर दिस आई, आफ्टर दिस इंडेक्स। सो अभी आई की वैल्यू 3 होगी, बट मुझे जब 4 आए तो मुझे एक न्यू लाइन देनी होगी, राइट। जब 4 आ जाए, राइट। तो मैं यहाँ पे चेक कर सकता हूँ, इफ माई आई इज इक्वल टू व्हाट, स्प्लिट इंडेक्स +1, यानी आई जो है जब 4 हो जाए तो आई जस्ट गिव अ न्यू लाइन, एंड देन उसके बाद जो भी वैल्यूज होंगी वो एक नए लाइन में प्रिंट होंगी। इन दैट वे आई विल बी एबल टू प्रिंट दीज टू सब एरेज यूजिंग सिंगल लूप। सो लेट्स रन दिस प्रोग्राम एंड सी वेदर वी आर गेटिंग आउटपुट और नॉट। See, we are getting output 1 2 4 5 whose sum is 12, 5 6 1 is another subarray whose sum is 12. So आप print कैसे भी कर सकते हो। The main purpose of this logic was to get the splitting index. आप दो अलग अलग subarray से भी print, अलग अलग loop से भी print कर सकते हो। So by various ways you can print the desired result, but the whole purpose of this logic was to get the splitting index. So 1 2 4 5 and 5 6 1. Now the problem in this logic is, if you write this logic, yeah, you are able to solve the given problem. But the thing is, here if you see, I'm using nested loops. So whenever the problem, uh, whenever we use nested loop, is always the complexity. That time complexity will be like, here I'm iterating till n. Here also I'm iterating, I mean linearly. So I mean the time complexity will be big O of n square, which is not good. So if we want to solve this problem in the time complexity of Vigo of n, then we'll have to, uh, look for other solutions. So nested loop is always avoided. But since this was the basic, approach which clicks the mind when we get this problem, so I showed you that this is one of the solution. Now we will try to avoid here one of the loop. So in that way, our time complexity will be reduced to Vigo of n, that is linear. So in linear time complexity, we have to solve this problem. So let's see the optimized solution for this problem. So optimized solution के लिए हमें ये Vigo of n में solve करना है, which means I have to avoid this nested loop, which I was writing to calculate the right Savarez sum. So right Savarez का sum हम लोग एक extra loop से अब calculate नहीं करेंगे, बल्कि total array का sum हम पहले निकाल लेंगे इस loop से पहले, और total में से left Savarez का sum हम minus कर देंगे, तो हमें right Savarez का sum मिल जाएगा, right? सो ये एक्स्ट्रा लूप जो है वो हम नहीं लिखेंगे। सो लेट्स डू दैट। सो मैं ये पीस ऑफ कोड को कमेंट कर देता हूँ और डायरेक्टली हम लोग न्यू लॉजिक लिखते हैं। फॉर दैट आई विल नीड 3 local variable to have that total sum, say left sum. I am saying left means left array sum, and right means right array sum. Initially all will be 0. I'll calculate the total array sum. So we can use normal for each loop to calculate that total array sum, right? Now, as I was iterating through the original array to calculate the left sub array sum, I'll do that. Int I is equal to 0, I will be less than n, and will be incremented to the length of an array. So this will have my now left sub array sum. So at this point only, when I'm iterating to the original array, at each point I want to check what is my right sub array sum also, right? Which earlier I was calculating by an extra loop, which I want to avoid this time. So this what I'll be doing is I'll be subtracting this left subarray sum from the total array sum. So in that way, I'll be getting this right subarray sum. I can check if my both left subarray sum is equal to right subarray sum or not. If it is equal, so if it is equal, what I can do is I can simply return that index. So that will be my splitting index. And iteration of this for loop, I did not get any splitting index. That means I can return -1, which I'm here comparing to just know that if no subarray is there in the original array, whose sum are equal, right? So let's run this program and see whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working, right? So just that in this logic, we avoided that loop which we were earlier using to calculate the right subarray sum. But yeah, this was the initial approach which will click anyone's mind. But yeah, we'll have to always try to avoid the nested loops. And for to avoid the nested loop, I I tried here an alternative that we can first calculate the total array sum. So in this way, we are writing two loop, but not one inside another. So the time complexity will be V go of n. So this code is optimized. Now if here, let's say test with one more test case. If my original array would have been 1, 2, 4, 5, in which there will be no two sub-arrays. So let me run this code. Yes, I will be getting output as no sub-array found. I cannot split this original array into two equal sum sub-array. So I think solution is clear and we should always write this optimized code. So if you have liked the video, please like, share and subscribe this YouTube channel for more videos. मिलते हैं next video में एक नए concept के साथ. तब तक के लिए bye. Thank you.